Every morning, the world offers you a choice. You can either drift with the current, letting distractions, comforts, and excuses decide the shape of your life, or you can take up the more demanding path, the path of working on yourself. It's not glamorous. It rarely brings immediate praise, but it is the work that truly matters. Because before you can lead, build, or inspire, you must first master yourself. The Stoics were not obsessed with changing the world so much as they were obsessed with changing themselves. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, who could have surrounded himself with every luxury and indulgence, reminded himself daily not to fall into arrogance, anger, or self-pity. He knew that power without discipline corrupts, and influence without character collapses. His private writings, which became the Meditations, are not a record of victory speeches, but of a man wrestling with himself, holding himself to account, and sharpening his own mind against the grindstone of life. Working hard on yourself begins with honesty. Not the kind of shallow honesty we offer in conversations, but a radical honesty in which you strip away the stories you tell to justify your weaknesses. We love to say we are too busy, too tired, too unlucky, but when we step back, what we often see is fear disguised as limitation. Seneca once wrote that it is not that we have a short life, but that we waste much of it. The hours slip through our fingers not because they are few, but because we allow them to be stolen by gossip, distraction, or laziness. To work on yourself means reclaiming those hours and using them as a craftsman uses his tools, with intention, patience, and care.
The work is quiet. No one applauds when you choose to read a book instead of scrolling endlessly on your phone. No one cheers when you resist anger in an argument or when you drag yourself out of bed for the discipline of exercise. But these small acts, invisible to others, are bricks laid in the construction of character. Epictetus told his students not to explain their philosophy, but to embody it. You do not need to announce your discipline. It will show in the way you carry yourself, in the steadiness of your mind when others are shaken, in the respect you earn, not through demand, but through presence. Modern life has made self-mastery harder, not easier. Temptation is always one click away. Comfort is always within reach. We are offered shortcuts to happiness in the form of purchases, substances, and fleeting pleasures. But shortcuts do not lead to fulfillment. They lead to emptiness. You cannot buy resilience, you cannot download courage, and you cannot fake wisdom. These qualities are forged the slow way, through effort, repetition, and sacrifice. Every moment of resistance, every small victory over laziness is another strike of the hammer against the steel of your soul. The Stoics did not believe in perfection, only in progress. Marcus Aurelius would often chastise himself for failing to live up to his own ideals, yet he did not wallow in guilt. He reminded himself to begin again, as many times as necessary. This is an essential truth about working on yourself. You will stumble, you will regress, you will fail. But each failure is a lesson, not a verdict. As long as you return to the work, you remain on the path. The true danger is not failure, but giving up on the attempt.
Imagine your life as a garden. Left unattended, weeds take over. Neglect shows quickly. But with steady effort, watering, pruning, and planting, the garden becomes a place of beauty and nourishment. Your mind, your habits, your character, they are no different. Work is required daily. Not frantic, desperate work, but steady and mindful care. And just like the gardener, you will never be finished. There is always another weed to pull, another branch to trim, another seed to plant. This is not discouraging, it is liberating, for it means there is always room to grow. Working on yourself also means facing discomfort willingly. The Stoics practiced voluntary hardship, sleeping on the floor or fasting, not out of self-punishment, but to train the mind to endure what life may one day demand. In our world, this might mean pushing yourself to learn a difficult skill, confronting an uncomfortable truth, or enduring the silence required for deep reflection. Comfort dulls the edge of the soul, while discomfort sharpens it. Every time you step into challenge, rather than retreat from it, you become stronger. There is also the matter of integrity. To work hard on yourself is not simply to build private strength, but to live in such a way that your values align with your actions. Hypocrisy is easy. It is the default state of most people. Integrity is difficult because it asks for consistency even when no one is watching. It demands that the person you are in public and the person you are in private be one and the same. This is exhausting if you live for appearances, but freeing if you live for truth.
The fruits of this labor are not always immediate. Just as training for months shows its results only in rare moments of competition, working on yourself pays off when life tests you. When crisis strikes, when loss arrives, when chaos surrounds you, it is then that your preparation reveals itself. The Stoic who has trained his mind does not collapse under pressure, but stands firm, not because he feels no pain, but because he has practiced responding with courage, clarity, and calm. And yet, it is important to remember that working on yourself is not a selfish pursuit. The stronger and wiser you become, the more you are able to serve others. A disciplined mind is less likely to lash out in anger, more likely to offer compassion. A resilient spirit can carry not only its own burdens, but help lift the burdens of others. The Stoics believed that we are part of a greater whole, a community, a cosmos. To neglect yourself is to weaken your contribution to that whole. To refine yourself is to make the world, in some small way, better. So how do you begin? You begin here, now, in this very moment, with the decision to stop postponing the work. You begin by examining your habits with honesty, by cutting away what weakens you, and by choosing instead what strengthens you, no matter how small. You begin by remembering, as Marcus Aurelius wrote, that you could leave life right now. And so you must decide what kind of person you want to be before that final moment comes.
The work will never be finished, and that is the beauty of it. Each day is a new chance to chisel away at your rough edges, to sharpen your mind, to deepen your character. Progress, not perfection. Direction, not destination. The only true failure is to give up the effort and drift through life unshaped, untouched, unchanged. So rise each day as though the world is your training ground. See obstacles not as insults, but as opportunities. Let discipline be your shield, wisdom your compass, and integrity your sword. Work hard on yourself, harder than you work on your job, harder than you work on your reputation, harder than you work on pleasing others. Because when you master yourself, you are free. And freedom is not the absence of responsibility, but the power to meet responsibility with strength. Freedom is not escape from challenge, but the courage to face challenge with open eyes. Freedom is not the promise of comfort, but the presence of character that endures without it. That is what the Stoics knew. That is what still holds true today. So begin, and begin again tomorrow, and again the day after that. Let your life become the evidence of your effort. Let your character be the proof of your labor. And when the end comes, you will not regret the hours you spent working on yourself, because they will have been the hours in which you truly lived.